Hello, and welcome to the virtual art tour of the ArtReach Gallery's Advent exhibit at Lovers Lane United Methodist Church. This year's Advent exhibit is entitled Inspired by Truth and Hope, featuring the work of a wonderful group of local artists known as faith artists. My name's Paul Ditto, and I'm the Executive Director of the Lovers Lane Foundation. The foundation exists for one reason, and one reason only, and that is to serve our church, its ministries, and its members. The foundation consists of more than 40 separate endowments, each benefiting a specific aspect of the church or its ministries, including youth programs and young adults, music ministries, Austin's Army, facility maintenance and repairs, communication and technology support, several lecture series, numerous scholarships, deaf ministries, benevolence. Well, I could go on, but the important thing here today is one of those endowments is our Visual Arts Endowment, which underwrites the full cost of our ArtReach Gallery in Watson Hall here at Lovers Lane. We have a great group of volunteers here at Lovers Lane that serve on our Visual Arts Committee, and they arrange for different exhibits to show in our ArtReach Gallery, usually on about a 60 to 90 day rotation, which often includes a meet and greet for the artists, a reception. That's for our congregation and others to actually come see the art and meet the artists. Now, as we all know, we are living in a different world since the COVID-19 pandemic came into our lives. As a result, we are adapting to this new normal. So although our Meet the Artist receptions are on hold for the moment, our virtual art tours are taking the place of those receptions. It's taken up the slack, standing in the gap. As I mentioned earlier, our current faith art exhibit is entitled Inspired by Truth and Hope, which features the artwork of a group of local artists that are part of a group known as Faith Artists. Faith Artists has about 25 or so active members, and more than a dozen of these artists are exhibiting in this show right now. Because of the circumstances brought on by the coronavirus, fewer people than we had hoped are going to see this exhibit in person, which is a shame because it is awesome. The exhibit went up November 19th, and although the exhibit will be up until January 28th, we know that many of you will not be able to see it in person. So we wanted to share the exhibit with you virtually as well. And that is what we're going to do in this video. The exhibit is awesome, and I would love to tell you more about it, but instead, I'd like you to hear from 3 founding members of Faith Artists. They can do a much better job telling you more about the Faith Artists and this exhibit. I'll come back later with some closing thoughts and information about how you can purchase one of these works of art. But for now, here is Melinda, Kendra, and Tom.
Well, thank you, Paul, and we thank the ArtReach Gallery for hosting Faith Artists and our Advent collection. I'm Kendra Walden. I'm one of the founding members of Faith Artists, and I'd like to tell you a little bit more about our group. We are a faith-based, scripture-inspired group of artists. We are regional to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Our artists come from many different denominations, professional backgrounds, and also techniques. So we're formed in 2009 as a group, and I would be remiss about talking about Faith Artists without mentioning how we got started. I was the Texas director for Masterpiece Christian Fine Arts Foundation when that collection came to Dallas to show about 15 years ago. And in the process of showing the collection, it was 94 pieces of art. Many artists came into the gallery over that 5-week period and continued to ask me, could there not be a group that would be able to show our gifts and talents artistically, but with Christian art. And so with that, in the wrap-up, we decided to meet at my kitchen table to discuss the possibilities of forming a group. And so that's how Faith Artist was born. And I excused myself to go upstairs to my office, and as I was walking down the stairs, it was as if God had just downloaded the very title of our group, which Faith Artist stands for Faith, Artist, Inspiring Truth, and Hope. And so with that, we proceeded to buy the domain name, and the rest is history. We produce one themed show per year, and we've been doing that every year for 10 years. We show in various venues, churches, municipalities, museums, and also in independent galleries. So one of the shows that was particularly well attended was the life and the works of C.S. Lewis. One of the pieces here is from that collection. So we had an interesting story. Several bookstores around the Dallas area noted that all of the C.S. Lewis books were being sold out and off the shelves after that collection toured all over the Dallas metroplex. So we do not create our art together. We normally announce the theme to the artist somewhere in the late summer or fall. We ask them to pray and meditate on it, and then in this following spring we will launch the collection into that first gallery, and then it starts to tour. And it's like Christmas when we all get together, because we can feed off each other's talents and gifts and help each other just be inspired to share our love of Jesus and love of our faith through our visual arts. So we have people who do, metal art, photography, sculpted art, and also on canvas. So we've got a lot of people who follow our themes and our shows and look forward to the next collection that following year. And so here is Tom Banker to talk a little bit more about his artwork.
Hello, I'm Tom Banker. I'm a founding member of, one of the founding members of Faith Artist, and I would like to talk to you a little bit of my artwork in the show. The first piece, long ago, I tried to demonstrate the hope and joy I feel throughout the Christmas season. And I'm reminded of all these things by everything I see around me, the Christmas decorations. So I have a Christmas tree, Christmas balls, the Christmas music. It all reminds me of what happened long ago when the Messiah came to earth to save us from our sins. And all these things that are around us in this month of December, I just really feel the Spirit of God. The second piece is about Adam and Eve being banished from the Garden of Eden. The name is Leaving Eden, is the name of the piece. And in it, I'm trying to show the shame and the pain as they were banished from this beautiful place that God created for them because they committed the original sin.
Hello, my name is Melinda Banker, and I'm the co-director of Faith Artists, and I help coordinate all these shows and produce these shows with Kendra Walden. I'm going to talk to you about Lee Bauman. Lee Bauman is one of the artists who has been with our group since the time of our C.S. Lewis show. He has taught studio art at DBU for 20 years. One of the things that we love about Lee is that he uses various techniques and mediums in his work, and he likes to be experimental. And the two pieces we have in this show are Ichthus, and as you can see, this is a fish that represents Christianity, and Guardian Angel, which is an icon. And Lee actually produced this by doing a workshop on medieval art. Stephanie Bray was born and raised in Dallas, and she's been painting with oils and acrylics for years. She's one of the newest members of our group, and we're very happy to have her. Her piece, Joyful Roses, is based on the third candle of the Advent season, which means joy. And Fruitful Flowers is based on the hope and anticipation of the birth of Jesus.
Okay, the next artist we're going to talk about is David Broussard. David has a company called Jeweled Steel, and he creates his steel art and by polishing and grinding the steel, and then he uses a plasma torch to actually torch the color onto the steel. Another piece he has represented here today in this collection is microphotography on aluminum.
Artie Howe is someone I've known for years. I've watched her art develop for years. Artie has joined Faith Artists about 4 years ago. She is retired from her job and is devoting her time to being an artist now. And as you can tell, she did this lovely piece of the angels coming to see the shepherds. Tom Hutch is an architect, and he likes to mix architectural expression with art, and he uses the mediums of his trade in his pieces. Breath of Heaven is about the star, the birth of Jesus Christ. Even When God is Silent is a remarkable piece. This was an inscription that was found on the cell on a wall in Germany after World War II. They feel like it was written in Hebrew, and they feel like this was written by a Hebrew child. And the title of the piece is Even When God is Silent. And the child wrote, I believe in God, even when God is silent. And then Tom's third piece in this show is There Is Always Hope. And for this one he wrote, In God, there is always hope. Jim Hutchinson is the chair, Department of Visual Arts at DBU. Jim is a professional illustrator. If you have worked with a Becca curriculum, or have you ever purchased Dayspring cards or calendars, it's very likely you have seen Jim's illustrations. And Jim had done this piece for our C.S. Lewis show, and we were very, very happy that he wanted to put in this piece, inspired by C.S. Lewis, into our show. Debbie Clayweather is a professional photographer. She has worked in this business for a number of years. She's very accomplished with this. And Debbie actually took this photograph up in a village area, a community area in McKinney, Texas. And she produced this beautiful piece of Mary with the baby Jesus. Cheyenne Lee is an artist that came to our group. She's from South Korea and currently living here in America. She likes to go by the name Shine, and we can say that that truly does describe her personality. And as you can see from these pieces, these are pieces where she did a lot of continuous line drawings. And what she says, a line by itself is insignificant, but if you coordinate it, it becomes a beautiful creation. Just like by ourselves, we are insignificant, but if we coordinate with Jesus Christ, we will become a beautiful creation. Faith Artists wants to welcome Margaret Dolphin Mall into our group. She is a guest artist for this show. She was instrumental in coordinating this show, and we asked her to put a piece in the show as well. And as you can see, she does beautiful calligraphy, and she did this piece based on the verse, in the beginning was the Word. Yoon-Sung Nam. Yoon-Sung is another artist that's from South Korea. She originally came to Faith Artists with help with her visa. And she contacted us because she needed a art group to be a part of. And she joined our group, and she's been an active member and has been in every one of our shows since. Yoon-Sung did 2 pieces for this show, Anointing of Royalty, and she's talking about how the oil is leaking from heaven for God's glory, and Let Me See Your Face, which is about the face of Jesus.
Now I would like to tell you about Russ Reed and some of his pieces, 2 of his pieces that are in the show. Now Russ is a real fan of art history, and he's studied art a lot, but when he sets out to paint, he just goes his own direction. And he tries to make the biblical stories and biblical concepts, bring them into modern day life so that they mean so much more to us as we see them. In his first piece, he does this by using models that are in his family or in his church or people he works with, just regular people, just to try to give it meaning that we can bring into our everyday life. The first piece, Swaddling Clothes, Jesus is depicted by one of his grandchildren. And in the second piece, Simeon and the infant, he shows the moment where Simeon discovered that he was seeing the Messiah, that he had lived long enough to see the Messiah come to earth. And these models for the painting are depicted by a grandchild again and a deacon from his church, Faith Bible Church.
Camille Riggs is one of the founding members of our group. She has been with our group from the beginning. Camille has been an artist for many years. She's technically accomplished in many mediums. And one of my personal impressions about Camille is that she is always very intentional in what she paints. And she did 2 pieces for this, Behold, which is from the teachings of Isaiah, and Keyhole Glory, which is from Isaiah 6:1. Mo Sanford is someone who joined our group about 5 or 6 years ago. Mo was actually a child prodigy as an artist. She started studying art at the age of 7 at the Carnegie Mellon University. And one of the things about Mo is she's a classically trained oil painter. And she did these 2 phenomenal pieces. One Who Would Leave a Child, and as you can see, it has to do with all the trash that's in the world. Yet the birth of Jesus gives us hope from all of this. And the other one that she did is Blind Fish, and it's titled Scales, Paul's Tears. And it's about the cave fish that live in darkness. And she ties that into the story of Paul about how he lived in darkness until the scales peeled from his eyes. Suzetta Steele is someone who joined our group in a very unique way. She had been to see a number of Faith Artist shows and was very excited about the group and just contacted us and asked if she could join, and we said we would love to have her. And she has done these 2 pieces, poinsettia and violin. Suzetta actually plays the violin, so she wanted to put this in the piece. And she stated that one of her favorite hymns is Silent Night. And then she did the other one, God With Us, and that one's based on the verse Matthew 1:23. Kevin Thompson uses a technique where metal is ground by hand, flame painted, and sealed. Unity comes from agreement on what matters, and spheres of influence comes from the verse Jeremiah 10:12, lean on God's wisdom in every sphere and influence of your life.
I'm going to be talking about my own art today, and I use a lot of textures and colors to create the designs that that are represented in the 2 pieces here today. One representing the birth of Christ and when heaven and earth comes together, and the texture and the depth, as well as the other painting called Through.
Thank you, Kendra, Melinda, and Tom. And to all of you viewing this virtual art exhibit, I hope you have all really enjoyed it. All of the art is for sale, except those few pieces that are marked not for sale. Each piece of work was displayed in the virtual art exhibit you just saw, and each had the purchase price listed below its picture, along with the approximate dimensions of the artwork. The same information is on our website at foundation.llumc.org/faith-artists. The only additional cost is sales tax and shipping cost if you are not able to pick it up at the conclusion of the actual exhibit. The exhibit is scheduled to come down on January 28. All purchased pieces would need to stay up until then, and you can't pick them up sooner. You will need to pick up your purchased piece on that day, January 28th, or arrange with me some alternative arrangement if you cannot be there that day. If it needs to be shipped, we can make those arrangements and let you know the additional costs for shipping. If you have a chance, come by the church and see the artwork in person in our Watson Hall here at Lovers Lane United Methodist Church at 9200 Inwood Road. The Lovers Lane Foundation is honored to underwrite all the costs of our ArtReach gallery. I want to thank you again for being part of this virtual art tour. If you'd like more information about the Lovers Lane Foundation or the ArtReach Gallery or our Visual Arts Committee, or to purchase one of the Faith Artists' works of art, that information is all on our website at foundation.llumc.org/faith-artists. Or just give me a call or drop me an email or just come by the church. I'm in my office here at church almost every day. We will slowly run back through some of the informational graphics in case you want to make note of any of that information. But if all else fails, just call the church. Ask for me, Paul Ditto, and we will take it from there. Again, thank you and God bless. And this is really important. Mark your calendars for January 28th when we hang our next exhibit. We'd like you to come see it too. And we hope to see you between now and then. So thanks again, good day, and God bless. Here come some of those informational graphics again, and we'll leave the last one up with purchase information a little longer at the very end so you can take note of that information. Thanks, and God bless.